Back out in the shop tonight. Nothing exciting, but at least trying to get something done. Let's put it that way. All right, so the chassis has been washed down again, wiped down with some wax and grease remover, and I actually started putting some POR on it. I don't spray this stuff. I like to brush it. Even though it's kind of a pain in the can to get it on there, I still like to brush it. Hey, put the shop in winter mode. Covered up the back section so we don't... Oh, now the furnace is going to turn on. Anyway, so we don't waste any more heat than what we have to. So got the truck crammed in the corner, got the Roadrunner, and the chassis. So I committed to myself to get the chassis coated so that I can, as soon as Christmas vacation is over, we'll be back on this, start swapping all that over to here. So hey, let's get the coating, see how it goes. All right, well, I got the first, foot done. I mean, how long could it take? Well, I'm done for the night. I got everything on the underside except for the big cross member and the second cross member, because I don't know what all needs to be done yet still here. So that I will catch after I get everything bolted up and everything. That same way, because I don't know what might have to change or what it might have to be altered. Let's put it that way, altered. So anyway, did the rest. This is just the bottom side I did first, so we'll flip it probably not tomorrow, but the next day. Flip this thing over so I can get the top side. I had a not quite full quart of POR, and it's about a little under halfway. So I don't foresee any problem using a quart for an entire chassis if you're brushing it on. Just mainly because there's no waste. I mean, other than what I got on the floor and on myself. So it just doesn't spray in the air like if you're trying to spray that stuff. And I've never sprayed POR, so I don't know what it's like. I just know that it's pretty thick, and I'd just prefer not to. But, this isn't a show truck. So if it was something super nice, I would probably have gotten the chassis blasted and sprayed it or had it powder coated, but it's not. This is a driver. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it'll flatten out some by tomorrow, which I would prefer, but I think this was a semi-gloss can. I didn't buy it for this. I had it left over from another project, so that's what it gets. So we'll flip it day after tomorrow and do the top side, and then we'll call that baby coated. Well, it's coated. I'm gonna have to talk over the furnace because I kicked it up a little bit, start drying it out. Flip the frame over. I should have recorded me flipping this frame over by myself. It's a challenge. But when you have to work on your own a lot, you figure out ways to get stuff done. So, flipped it over, put it back on the roll-around stands, and coated the top side of it. I mean, this side, you're not going to see the top side of this. Tops of the cross members. Nobody's ever going to see that stuff. But it's coated. And I still had about an inch in the bottom of the POR can. So, still got a little bit left for touch-up if it doesn't harden up. After you use a POR can. And PSA to those that have not used POR 15. Once you get into the can, when you go and close that can up, you better wipe off that whole inner lip of the can and everything on the lid that got on there. Because if you seal that with anything on those surfaces, any POR on those surfaces, you will not get that lid back open without pretty much destroying everything. So if I don't do that, I've learned, put a piece of aluminum foil over it and then seal the lid, or a couple of pieces of aluminum foil, sorry. One piece, another piece, seal the lid. Then you will be able to get it open because the foil will separate from itself. But otherwise, yeah, you're in a mess. I learned that the hard way. So here we go. Let's get this thing dried out and start making this chassis look like a truck. You know, like that other one. Christmas 2023 has come and gone. We are not quite to 2024 yet, but we're pretty damn close. And I have gone yet another calendar year without having this thing on the actual road. So let's work on that today. Let's get the bed pulled off. Let's get the front clip pulled off. Stash the bed in that corner in front of the Roadrunner. And stash that front clip somewhere. I'm going to try to keep it all in one piece if I can. Might even do that with the hood on. Could get dicey. I don't want to bend anything up, but that might be the play. We'll see. And let's focus on, once we have those off, we're going to focus on making this a roller. So we'll swap the rear end out as a whole. Just drop it with the springs and everything. Swap it in over here. See how everything fits? Should fit, no problem. Same with the front. We'll drop it as complete as we can drop it and slide it under here. Let's make this thing a roller. Maybe in the next couple days. Then we'll focus on getting that engine and trans out. We'll leave the cab on there probably for a while, just because I don't really have another place to put it for right now. We'll focus on the engine and trans, and before we swap it, when we get it out of here or get access to it, I'll see what it's going to take. Maybe we'll do it in there. I have a massive leak. I don't know where it's coming from, but there is a massive oil leak on this engine. And when I say massive, I put that pan under there and that helped catch a lot of it, but it's a lot. If it sits, it's a lot. So there's something going on there. I don't know where. We'll get to that. So let's see if we can get anywhere in the next couple of days and make this thing at least a halfway roller. For those of you that thought I was absolutely insane for getting this far with this truck and then switching it over to this chassis, I want to document how long I have time-wise in the actual swap over. So tonight is Friday, and I'm maybe an hour's worth of work to get the bed ready to pull off. Now, if you haven't been following along, it's not complete, so it's not like swapping a complete truck over to this, but it was pretty far along. So, and that's one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and do it, because there was, I mean, it's not done, obviously, and there was a couple of things I'm going to change. So all I had to do, really, there was only a couple of bolts in the bed. I had to unhook the tank, which was the easy fittings. I'd already spent some time doing the holes through that front support for the lines and the electrical. So I had already had that in and out multiple times, so that was pretty easy. Otherwise, that was it in the back. I mean, there wasn't anything big in the back. The front, pulled the radiator out, that big monster. Pulled that out, unbolted the backs of the fenders, that bolt that's in through the pillar right there behind the fender, that bolt. Unbolted the front mounts for the radiator support to the frame, a couple other miscellaneous wiring things, and just sat all the wiring on the engine. I unbolted the supports. I'm not going to open the hood because it's all loose right now. It's just ready to be lifted off. I just don't have any help to get it off tonight. So I unbolted, the 3 bolts that hold this main support onto the firewall area. The hood is still completely bolted to the hinges and all completely together, and that's where I'm going to attempt to keep it. So bed's coming off in the morning when I have some help. That's why you have 3 kids, so they can help you with this stupid crap. Bed's going on these stands. Front clip, we'll spin the truck around. Front clip will be sitting right over here next to it, just on the ground. I'll just put it on some jack stands, keep it from sitting on the ground because I don't want to fold the fronts of the fenders over. So I'm hoping to pull it all off in one piece and set it back on in one piece on this truck. And then we'll be down to, you know, the engine and all the wiring. I'll have to separate. Can put that bulkhead in for the wiring, so that should be really easy. Then I'll have to deal with my clutch. I'm trying to not unhook the hydraulic part of the clutch so that I don't have to re-bleed it and all that stuff. I think I can pull that off from what I was looking at earlier. I'll unbolt the cab, but I just want to document how much time. So all in all tonight, maybe an hour, because all I did was a couple of bolts in the back, unhook the fuel tank, wiring and lines, and then just the fender bolts in the front and pulling the radiator and the battery. And that's pretty much it. It took me longer, I think, to clean my radiator drain pan because I'd used it for some oil changes. That was stupid. So maybe an hour tonight. Let's keep rolling. We'll see how long it takes to get this thing swapped over to this. And it's starting to get naked again. All right, so we pulled the front clip off. Plan worked out. Bed's off, obviously. We're ready to start doing some swappy. Let's start at the back. Let's get this dude underneath there. And then I think I'll do front suspension and then kind of go from there. So we'll basically swap these rollers that are underneath here to here. So this thing will still be kind of rollable. And this thing will be a roller as well. All right, let's get to work. Sometimes it becomes a balancing act of creativity when you're by yourself. It's fine, it's fine, it's great. So when you're by yourself and you're doing something like this, it's a good idea to have the right tools for the job. Or whatever you got laying around that will help. So halfway done with getting this rear end. So I think I'm just going to swap it over here, but I know I'm not going to be able to get this up high enough. So I think I'll take these, slide them back under here after I get that rear end slid out, and then probably take the engine hoist and slide it over here and lift this high enough, and you know, just got to get creative. Let's keep rolling. Well, that worked out. Now we'll slowly glide this down and we'll have it as a rear end roller. Then we'll get to knocking out the front. Poof, it's done. Rear end in. Let's move to the front. I think I'm gonna use the same concept on the front. Utilize the engine hoist to lift the whole thing. Hopefully drop out as much as I can in one shot. Slide it under there. Let's go. Well, that wasn't too bad. Just a matter of unhooking the coil spring retainers, the shocks, the brake lines, the arms, trailing arms, radius arms, whatever the hell you call those things. And unbolting the beams. Here you go, John Pennington. We're taking your beams from here over to there. Let's get this going. And you, are you going to do a freaking thing today? I could have used a hand a little bit ago. God damn, that cat's lazy. And getting fat. Look at her. Yeah. All right, let's get this under. Get this thing down on the ground on 4 feet. Well, that wasn't as easy as I had hoped, but at least it got done. It was tough to wrestle with one person to get this all over as one piece, so to speak. But finally got it. Between 2 jacks and pry bars and jack stands and blocks of wood, and yeah, finally got it. So got to where I wanted to get today. Didn't have a whole lot of time, but yeah, it's a roller on this side, and this side we're gonna have to do a little bit to make this a roller. Matter of fact, I don't know that my plan on that is gonna work. So because this chassis was able to roll around on those dollies. This, however, has a slight bit more of weight on it, so I have to come up with a different plan to make this mobile, or just go ahead and yank the engine and trans out where it sits, which may or may not be the best location. I don't know that I have the amount of room I'd like to have right here. So one way or another though, we'll get it taken care of. And yeah, before I yank that front, I probably should have slid that thing back some, but we'll get it done. We'll make it rolling somehow. But the next goal would be to probably unbolt the cab so that I can slide it back some as necessary, and get this engine and trans pulled out. I think I'm going to try to, well, get under there now and see if I can figure out exactly where that oil leak is coming from, and see if there's anything I can do about that as it sits right here before I pull it out. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. All right, let's keep going at it. Well, it's unbolted. All the wiring is tucked back. Let's see, exhaust is unhooked. Cross member underneath is unhooked. I have to pull the power steering lines still, and I think that might be it. I didn't want to pop those loose yet because I didn't want them leaking all over the floor. I have the drive shaft still in too. We'll yank that out. I think the exhaust can stay in from what it looks like. I have to remember to take that exhaust and get it in there before I set that engine and trans in, because it's all pretty tight. So got the shifter popped loose. I think I'm ready. Me and the rest of the Hindsight boys were talking a little bit today, and it's kind of the New Year goal to just get a little bit done every day. Just a little something. So hopefully by, well, within the next couple of days, I will knock out getting this thing out and set in over here. Checking out my oil leak. I'm done crawling underneath this thing, so I'm not even going to show you. If I'm back underneath it, I'll do a little video of it. Somewhere in the past of this engine, this 306, somebody has put what looks like JB Weld on the oil pan. I don't know what happened. Haven't popped off the JB Weld to see, but it looks like the oil is seeping out around the big, and I mean, it's a big glob. It's like 6 inches wide by 4 inches, just globbed up in there. So I haven't popped it off, but there was some kind of problem with the oil pan. So I'm going to see what it takes to replace that oil pan, if it's a big problem back at the rear or not. And then I'm going to probably get that pan off there, see if that pan can be fixed the right way. If I can weld in a patch, or I don't know what it is. I'll pop it off there, I guess, and see, but next time I'm underneath there. So try to correct that pan. If I can't, I just have to get another pan and when I lift it up out of here, get that new pan on there, set it down in here. I was just underneath there unbolting the transmission cross member and everything, and remembered that I popped new holes back here. I don't believe I used existing holes for that cross member with that transmission, so probably gonna have to do some drilling and re-drilling and all that. But I think I've got it to where the cab's gonna separate nicely. I got the clutch unhooked. That was not too bad. I've kept everything together and sealed for the clutch, so hopefully I won't have to re-bleed that or do anything there. I pulled it out of there. It's just kind of tucked up underneath here. Fuel lines are all tucked. I don't know. I might be ready. I might not. Start yanking it out of there and I'll find out. So we'll get to that. But I think for today, I'm going to call it good. And get back out here tomorrow. Do something.